I used to wake up just in time to race through my mornings, rushing through breakfast, barely present in conversations, always behind schedule, and constantly stressed. Life felt like a never-ending treadmill, but one simple change flipped my entire reality. I started waking up at 5 a.m. Sounds crazy, and how I show up every single day. And today, I want to walk you through how waking up at 5 a.m. transformed my life forever. Whether you're a night owl or someone stuck in the cycle of chaos, this might be the shift you've been waiting for. Right, but the 5 a.m. rule didn't just make me more productive. It reshaped how I live, how I think. I'd eventually stumble out of bed, groggy and unfocused. Most mornings started in a panic. My spirit felt stuck. I was constantly reacting to the day instead of leading it. I lived in a loop of distraction, delay, and discouragement. My thoughts were my own. I read for 20 minutes, journaled my intentions, did some light stretching. It wasn't perfect, but it was peaceful. Checking notifications, my mind began to feel sharper. My mood lifted. I started using that hour to visualize goals, plan my day, move my body, reflect on where I was heading. Skipping breakfast. The alarm went off at 5 a.m. and every part of my body screamed to stay in bed. But I got up, dragged myself to the kitchen, made a cup of coffee. The prefrontal cortex, a part of the brain responsible for decision-making and focus, is most active in the early hours, when distractions are minimal. Sat in silence. I didn't even know what to do with myself. They report higher satisfaction in personal growth and emotional well-being because they take control of their day before the world places demands on them, hurrying to the next obligation without a moment of clarity. Let's dive in. Before I adopted the 5 a.m. habit, mornings were a disaster. The alarm would blare, and I'd hit snooze 3 or 4 times. It wasn't just about time, it was about energy. My mind was foggy, my body was slow, but deep down, I knew there had to be a better way. If you win the morning, you win the day. That single sentence echoed in my mind. One evening, while browsing through a podcast episode on performance habits, I heard something that stopped me. The speaker said, I kept listening. Use the early morning hours to focus on personal growth, movement, reflection, and creativity. Before the world wakes up, before the noise begins, before distractions take over. The idea was simple yet powerful: wake up at 5 a.m. It sounded almost too good to be true, but I was desperate for change. I committed to trying it for 1 week. The first morning was brutal, but something felt different. For the first time in months, I wasn't rushed. The world was quiet. By the 3rd morning, something strange began to happen. I looked forward to it. By the 7th day, I knew this wasn't just a challenge, it was a lifestyle shift. Waking up early isn't just a motivational gimmick. Science backs it up. At 5 a.m., there are no emails, no calls, no meetings, just pure mental clarity. Studies show early risers are more proactive, more consistent with positive habits, and less prone to stress. You begin your day with intention, not reaction. That small window of uninterrupted time can shape your mindset for everything that follows. Let me walk you through what my 5 a.m. routine looks like now. 5 o'clock, wake up and hydrate. The alarm goes off and I get out of bed immediately. I drink a glass of water to rehydrate and signal my body that the day has begun. 5:05, light movement. This isn't about an intense workout. It's about waking up the body and releasing feel-good endorphins. I do 10 to 15 minutes of stretching or bodyweight exercise. Then I write down 3 things I'm grateful for, 3 goals for the day, and a reflection on how I'm feeling. 5:20, mindfulness and journaling. I sit in silence for a few minutes. Breathe deeply. Practice gratitude. 5:40, learn and reflect. I read a book for 20 minutes, no scrolling, no screens. Just focused reading something that challenges me or teaches me a new skill. I write, brainstorm, outline projects, or plan the day in detail. This is when my mind is ideas flow naturally. 6 o'clock, creative time or planning. This is my golden hour. Deadlines didn't scare me anymore. I was ahead of them. I went from being constantly overwhelmed to confidently in control. By 6:30 or 7 o'clock, I'm ready to take on the day, centered, prepared, and energized. Once I made 5 a.m. a non-negotiable, the benefits overflowed into every other area of my life. I started eating more mindfully. I stopped reacting emotionally to challenges. But here's the secret: getting up early doesn't make you tired. Staying up too late does. Once you align your evenings with your morning goals, the fatigue fades and energy rises. My relationships improved because I showed up calmer, more present, more engaged. I became more consistent with exercise. You can gradually shift your sleep schedule, go to bed 15 minutes earlier each night until you reach your goal. Professionally, I became more focused. I started tackling my most difficult tasks early, when my willpower was strongest. I stopped drifting, I started directing. I stopped blaming time and started creating it. It reminded me that I am not a victim of my schedule. I am the architect of it. Mentally, I became more resilient. There's something powerful about doing something difficult first thing in the morning. You build discipline. You build trust with yourself. You don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. forever, but try it for 1 week. You begin to believe you can do more, be more, achieve more, and that belief, it changes everything. You might be thinking, I'm not a morning person. Neither was I. Don't fill it with distractions. Fill it with intention. The truth is, becoming a morning person is a choice, not a trait. It takes time to adjust, but the body adapts. Another common excuse is, I'm too tired in the morning. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Even waking up just 30 minutes earlier can create space for change. The biggest transformation wasn't external, it was internal. Waking up at 5 a.m. gave me something I had lost ownership over my life. That quiet hour gave me clarity. It helped me reconnect with what really matters. That mindset shift alone is worth everything. You don't need to be superhuman. Give yourself the gift of time before the world asks for your attention. Use that time to move, reflect, learn, and create. Because how you start your day is how you shape your life. I'm not here to sell you a routine. I'm here to remind you of your power. The 5 a.m. rule changed my life, not because of the hour on the clock, but because of who I became in that hour. And if it changed mine, it can change yours too. All it takes is one morning, one choice, one commitment to yourself. Are you ready?